Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Tyree from On the Hot Podcast. Today, this will be episode 181 for you guys today. Of course, this episode is going to be coming out on all four of our platforms, our Instagram account, our Facebook account, our YouTube account, and our Apple Podcast account. So let's go ahead and dive into the first segment of this week's episode. I'll be sharing my NFL mid-season 2024-25 regular season awards. So if the NFL season were to end today, these are the following players and coaches I do believe will win the 2024-25 regular season awards. Starting off with the most important award, the MVP, most valuable player. My vote to win MVP this year, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, I really believe if he keeps it up, he will win his third MVP in his illustrious NFL career thus far. I mean, Lamar Jackson is doing it all for the Baltimore Ravens and their offense. He's doing it well, passing the ball. He's really putting to bed all the narratives of him not being a good, solid thrower in the pocket. I mean, Lamar Jackson has a total of 2,669 passing yards, 24 passing touchdowns. He's also getting good things done with his legs. He has 538 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. So, for a guy that is labelized as a dual threat, he is doing it, making big plays with his arm. And his stats while trailing in ball games is truly elite. I mean, that's something you really have to take into consideration when you have the most valuable player, because Lamar Jackson, while trailing in ball games, has a total of 1,038 passing yards, 273 rushing yards, 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And Lamar Jackson has the Baltimore Ravens humming and being a great football team this NFL season. And I believe it's his race to lose. I think Lamar Jackson has done everything to a lot of people's eyes that he is the favorite to win his third MVP this NFL season. So that leads me to another player in the Baltimore Ravens offense. And I do believe at the season ended today, Derrick Henry would have my vote to win Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, Derrick Henry has to be the best addition in the NFL offseason to an NFL team. What he's done, being an X factor for the Baltimore Ravens, being in the backfield with him and Lamar Jackson and Tom Munkin's offense, that's really unstoppable on a weekly basis. And Derrick Henry being in the backfield with Lamar Jackson, him being the X factor, has helped the Baltimore Ravens become the best offense in the National Football League. I mean, think about it. When Derrick Henry gets going, that leaves the door open for players like Zay Flowers to get going, Mark Andrews at tight end to get going, Rashad Bateman at wide receiver to get going. I mean, Derrick Henry is the true X factor in this Baltimore Ravens offense. And Derrick Henry is having an explosive season in the backfield. He's got 1,120 rushing yards, 12 rushing touchdowns, and it's proving why he's the best running back in the National Football League today. He could be in elite conversation with some NFL all-time greats of Marshall Faulk, Adrian Peterson. I keep going on and on of great running backs that have had 2K seasons, 2,000 rushing yards in a season. Derrick Henry, if he keeps this up, he could be in that conversation for having a 2K season, 2,000 yards rushing. But I have to say, what he's done for this Baltimore Ravens offense has to put him in the conversation for being the Offensive Player of the Year. And I also want to say one more thing. Titans giving up on top-tier talent has to be studied. And when I say that, they've helped some top-tier teams around the National Football League get better. I mean, look what happened when the Titans traded away A.J. Brown and the Philadelphia Eagles. They got 10 times better, being the true number one wideout in Philly. Derrick Henry letting him walk a free agency to sign Tony Pollard. With him going to the Baltimore Ravens got 10 times better. DeAndre Hopkins getting traded for a bag of Doritos, a 5th-round pick, to the Kansas City Chiefs, that's going to make them better for the second half of the NFL season. So with the Titans trading away players and giving up on them or letting them walk and not really getting better in return, that has to be studied. I mean, damn. Those 3 players, think about it. Those 3 players are being tremendous X factors for the 3 teams I just mentioned. But let's get back on track here. Defensive Player of the Year, Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson. There we go. Trey Hendrickson has been the only bright spot for the Cincinnati Bengals on the defensive side of the ball this entire NFL season. I mean, they've been getting crushed on the defensive side of the ball week in and week out. But there's one guy, one edge rusher, and that's Trey Hendrickson being the difference maker for the Cincinnati Bengals defense. And I have to say, Trey Hendrickson, as I continue to get tongue-tied, but he's been the best pass rusher in the NFL this year. And that's surprising that he's been the best pass rusher over guys like TJ Watt, Nick Bosa, Myles Garrett this NFL season. And I mean, Trey Hendrickson is making plays on the defensive end weekly. He's got 23 solo tackles, leads the league in sacks with 11 sacks, 1 forced fumble. I think it's his award to win as long as he continues this and be the only bright spot for the Cincinnati Bengals in ball games. But yes, he definitely deserves to win Defensive Player of the Year. Now, Offensive Rookie of the Year, it's going to quarterback Jayden Daniels. I think this is a no-brainer, a lock for him to win Offensive Player of the Year this year. And as a Dallas Cowboys fan, it makes me sick that the Commanders, in my opinion, have found their franchise quarterback for the sake of the future, that being Jayden Daniels. The kid is special, and I've said it several times week in and week out during the regular season this year that Jayden Daniels is a special quarterback. I just see it. I see it the minute I laid my eyes on him last year at LSU when he won the Heisman Award. I stuck by it after that okay game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers week 1, but ever since then he's caught my eye. He's gotten my attention to say he's got the X factor. He's the it factor. He's having a tremendous rookie season, something that we seen last year that C.J. Stroud, quarterback for the Houston Texans, had. I mean, Jayden Daniels he makes plays with his leg. He doesn't quit on plays. He has a strong arm, a great deep ball in the pocket. What is there not like about Jayden Daniels? He's truly changed the culture for the Washington Commanders. I think it's his award to win for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Quinyon Mitchell, Eagles cornerback. Now, once again, as a Cowboys fan, I am really jealous of how Howie Roseman and the Eagles front office pulled this off in the NFL draft. They drafted Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback from Toledo, and they drafted Cooper DeJean, cornerback from Iowa, in round 1, round 2. How the hell did they pull that off? And they're going to be both cornerstone players in the Eagles secondary as guys like Darius Slay starts to get up there in age, starts to age. These two cornerbacks are going to be lockdown defenders, I do believe, out there in Philly. That's the potential that they have. And Quinyon Mitchell is already playing at an elite level. 9 games into his NFL career, quarterbacks are hardly thrown his way. And when he's gotten the chance to guard the top tier guys on the opposing offenses in terms of their best wide receivers, guys like Drake London, Chris Olave, Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, Malik Neighbors, Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb. When he's all in coverage, they have under 4 catches in coverage when he's had the chance and the opportunity to guard him. He's doing a great job. He's doing a great job thus far in the Eagles secondary. I got to say they found a gem in Quinyon Mitchell. And Quinyon Mitchell this early in the NFL season. So I like what I'm seeing from him. He's definitely my lock to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Now, Coach of the Year is Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers, has to win Coach of the Year. He's my pick to win it. Right? Mike Tomlin, his coaching career, he's always found a way to keep the Pittsburgh Steelers above 500 or at 500 or above. And he's done it for over 16 years in his NFL career. And he's done another great coaching job this year with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They find themselves at 7-2, first place in the AFC North, despite using Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. And he had to make that hard choice of transactioning from Justin Fields, who was 4-2 at the time, to go to the veteran guy, Russell Wilson. It's paid off for the team because the offense looks way better. But for someone that doesn't have their hands in the cookie jar offensively, I just said what he did with the move for Justin Fields to Russell Wilson. He also hired Arthur Smith, a head coach that got a rough way out of Atlanta with the Atlanta Falcons last year, to bring him in for the offensive side of the ball. He's contributed a lot for the offense of being a run-first team with Najee Harris and company. Russell Wilson looks like $1 million once again. Mr. Unlimited looks pretty good with the Pittsburgh Steelers, turning back the clock to possibly the Seattle Seahawks days with him having the aura at the quarterback position once again. So the job that Mike Tomlin has done, I have to say he's Coach of the Year. And the additions of Mike Williams and Preston Smith, they're going to play a long way in the second half of the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the coaching staff, the coaching job that Mike Tomlin has had, he has to win Coach of the Year this year. Tremendous job out there in Pittsburgh. Now, final award that I have, Comeback Player of the Year, I would give it to Kirk Cousins. Now, Kirk Cousins did tear his Achilles last year with the Minnesota Vikings, and that was the end of his run in Minnesota because he went on to sign with the Atlanta Falcons during free agency. Now, after Kirk Cousins, a month or so after Kirk Cousins signed that massive 4-year, $180 million contract, they drafted Michael Penix Jr. within the top 10 pick in the 2024 draft class. So Kirk Cousins didn't complain. He put his head down. He's been grinding. He's been elevating players like Drake London, Kirk Cousins, Bijan Robinson, Darnell Mooney to bring the best out of them in the Atlanta Falcons offense. He's actually elevating all of those players that I just mentioned. Even though the Falcons are 6-4, they are in firm control of a sorry NFC South division. So I got to say, with that being said, Kirk Cousins deserves to win Comeback Player of the Year. And he's looked pretty good with the Atlanta Falcons offense. But that is my NFL midseason award predictions for the 2024-25 NFL regular season.